I'm going to tell y'all in this video why we still love Derek Chisora. Regardless of him having 9 losses. Regardless of how much of a foul mouth he has. Regardless of how disrespectful Derek Chisora can get. Throwing water on people. Who's the donkey now? Who's the donkey now? Regardless of what you say about Derek Chisora, he is entertaining outside the ring and inside the ring, people. And Derek Chisora is absolutely right. Him versus Joseph Parker is credible enough to be the fucking main event. The undercard should be fucking Taylor versus Regis Progress. Don't get it twisted though, people. I feel like Regis versus Progress could hold their own card. But this for sure should be the main event. It's 2 top fighters. 2 heavyweight fighters. Joseph Parker got a solid fan base. Derek Chisora has a huge fan base. And I agree with them. This should be the main event. Eddie Hearns, stop fucking playing with me. Derek Chisora is absolutely right, people. Absolutely right. Let's talk about it for a minute. Derek Chisora is going to sell this fight. He's already selling this fight with this alone. He's not even trying to sell it. Derek Chisora, he brings not only shit talking to the ring, trash talking, which is selling a fight, but Mr. Del Boy also brings antics. Okay, it's a difference between selling the fight and bringing antics. Antics is shit like this. You know, throwing water. You know, he glassed me. He glassed me. All that shit is antics to sell a fucking fight. So you're not finna sit here and tell me. I'm surprised Regis Progress. And I want to ask the same question. And that's why we respect Derek Chisora. That's why I'm a fan of Derek Chisora, because he's not PC. He's not politically correct about everything. You dig? And that's why we fucking love Derek Chisora. And people want to talk about his 9 losses. All Derek Chisora's losses against top fighters are very skillful fighters. But he fights everybody. Half of the fighters Derek Chisora lost to, you could argue that he won or was up on the scorecards by the time of the stoppage. David Hay. Some people had Derek Chisora up on scorecards, people. Dillian White. We all know Derek Chisora won that first fight. And Dillian White won a second fight because Derek Chisora just got tired and he got caught with a good shot. He beat a good boxer, knocked him out quicker than Wilder. Although I felt that Wilder fought the better Spilka, but it's still a KO. The only person to KO Carlos Takam. Some people thought in the first fight with Fury was some controversy. In the second fight, he was clearly injured. So, I don't even give Fury much credit for the second fight. Derek Chisora, I'm telling you, he brings when you think of this card, people, you think about Derek Chisora. Regardless of the losses, regardless of what, you thinking about Derek Chisora. Because you want to see what he's going to do. He's unpredictable. What he's going to do to sell this fight. And he plays the bad guy role. Boxing fans subconsciously likes bad guys. Hear me out again. Boxing heads subconsciously likes bad guys. People may say they love AJ. You know, people sound just like bitches. Bitches do the same shit. They want a good guy. They want a gentleman that's going to treat them right. But secretively and deeply, they really want a bad guy. That's why a bad guy is the most successful one with women. Same shit with fucking boxing, aka black fighters. Okay? Well, I'm not going to say just black fighters, but it's mostly with black fighters. Prince Nazim was a bad guy, outside and inside the ring. That's why people loved Prince Nazim. It's not too many good guys that's loved in boxing. Lennox Lewis, he was a good guy, supposed to be the good guy in boxing. People hated fucking Lennox Lewis in his prime. Don't give me that bullshit. with Mike Tyson, even Deontay Wilder. People claim they don't like Deontay Wilder, but most of their videos is about Deontay Wilder. Whenever Deontay Wilder fights, or when Mike Tyson fought, everybody was tuned to fuck in. Everybody. Okay? David Haye was a shit talker, but David Haye wasn't really liked neither at a once upon a time. Once upon a time, David Haye was not very liked. David Haye wasn't liked so much. They was favoring the other bad guy, which is Derek Chisora, who was more disrespectful than David Haye in my opinion. They was favoring him to beat David Haye. Why? Because David Haye wasn't really liked, people. He's secretly liked, which means they can't admit it. But they know damn good and well you would rather see a fucking David Haye fight than a good guy like fucking, let me give you guys a prime reason, Pulev fight. Yeah. You would rather see a David Haye fight than a good guy like Kuprat Pulev. But like I said, these guys is just like bitches because they say they want to, they say, oh, I respect AJ. The reason I like AJ because he's a gentleman, he's a nice guy, and he's not a loudmouth like Wilder. When you know damn good and well that shit may be cool what you're saying, but it's boring as shit. When it comes to boxing, why do you think people like Conor McGregor and Tyson Fury? It's not because what they do in the fucking ring. It's because they talk a good one. They could sell a fight. Mayweather. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Why do you think so many people was tuning in the Mayweather fight? Because of his big fucking mouth. If Mayweather was a good guy and was winning all these times, he would be another Terrence Crawford. Another good black guy who we're not really going to tune in unless he's fighting another huge opponent. Mayweather could fight a fucking tomato can and you're going to tune in. Why? Because of Mayweather's big fat mouth. So subconsciously we like bad guys in boxing. We don't even realize it. And Derek Chisora is this guy. Derek Chisora with all these losses. He's the fucking, how you call it? He's the star of this card. I must say it, people. He's the star of this card. He's the star of the fucking card. You gotta have a bad guy in every movie. I feel like all of the good fights, it has to be a bad guy involved. Good movies, most of the good movies is a bad guy involved. Most of the good fights is a bad guy involved. You gotta have a villain. And even like ESPN, Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. A lot of people hated Stephen A. Smith because he was a good guy, you know, always want to use big words and shit like that. People still can't stand Stephen A. Smith. Why? Because he think he's all that, think he's all extra smart. But then you got a guy who's not as smart as Skip Bayless, and everybody likes him. Subconsciously, though. Because people will say they hate Skip Bayless, but Skip Bayless was the star of that fucking show. The controversy, the nonsense he says sometimes. People, we subconsciously like this shit. Same shit with Derek Chisora. That's why Derek Chisora is so entertaining and everything, because he's the star of this card and he's a main event fighter. Unless you got a Dillian White, a Deontay Wilder, a Anthony Joshua fighting before you, that's different. But no fucking lower weight class. Josh Taylor, yes, they're undefeated and I feel that, but they could still be on an undercard or hold their own card. I'm with Derek Chisora on this all the way. Even when I first heard this, even when I first heard this boxing match was official, I automatically thought that Derek Chisora and Joseph Parker was a main event. So I'm with Derek Chisora all the way. Derek Chisora is extremely right. Pay me my money and make me a fucking main event. Fuck that bullshit.